Good evening. Have a good evening. Have a
Introduce yourself.
My name is ABHISHEK Pilania. I have done my BTech from IIT Jodhpur in electrical engineering. Currently, I'm working in a private sector in Delhi. The firm is Technocrats Private Limited. My hobbies are playing football and making 2D animations.
Okay, you choose physics as your optional subject.
Yes, sir.
So recently Nobel Prizes were announced. So can you just name who has won this year accolade?
Sorry, sir, I have not been able to.
Okay, no, if you cannot recollect the name of personalities, exact contribution for what exactly they have been.
Sir, I read about it, but I cannot.
Cannot recollect. And what about medicine or physiology? No idea about it. Okay, any major current affair which you have gone through in last 3 days?
Sir, I've been traveling for the past 3 days.
Okay, and you just mentioned about Jodhpur.
Yes, sir.
So can you just give two major landmarks of Jodhpur?
Sir, one would be Umaid Palace. Sir, another one is. Sir, I'm forgetting the name of the fort. Sir, the movie Batman was shot there.
Okay. But okay, just give any two major hobbies which you are pursuing.
Sir, I'm very passionate about football and I also like to do 2D animation aspect.
Okay, in football, India has not done too well. Can you just give FIFA ranking of Indian football team?
Sorry, sir, I will not be able to.
And currently, the Asian Games are going on. What are the mascots of current Asian Games?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, just tell us about your optional subject more. Why did you choose physics as your optional subject?
Sir, physics has been my first love. So I think since the very beginning, from 10th and 12th, I love physics. I think every.
Can you name any Indian contribution from ancient or medieval India in physics or chemistry field?
Sir, there have been numerous. Aryabhatta has written many things about physics. That Earth revolves around sun. Sir, Varamihira also contributed towards.
Can you name his book? In which book he has described about this astrophysics?
Sir, Panch Siddhantika.
Okay. And what about Brahmagupta and Bhaskaracharya? Are they also related with physics or you could say astronomy?
So I would say they are, but I cannot recall their exact contributions.
Okay, in physics there is a Higgs boson which is was touted as God particle and it helped in completing standard model of physics.
Yes, sir.
Can you just highlight what this boson word is named after? Which Indian scientist is it attributed?
Sir, Mr. J.C. Bose.
Are you sure or was it Satyendra Nath Bose?
No, sir, it was, as far as I can recall, it was J.C. Bose.
J.C. Bose made contribution in microwave or radio waves. It was Satyendra Nath Bose who worked on statistics of photons and eventually Bose-Einstein condensate came into being and it's the boson has been attributed to Satyendra. No issue. And can you give any everyday life where physics is being used? Any example? That how and suppose we select you in administration where physics can play a role.
Sir, I think the administration today is very quite complex and technology is very intertwined with everyday administration. So even in satellite communication, we have to do remote sensing of our geological resources or water resources. Cross-cutting experiment in these insurance claims, they are being done through.
Suppose the communication satellite is to be placed. Which orbit would you prefer and which is the likely launch vehicle you would use?
Sir, it would, for communication satellite, geostationary orbits are feasible.
And which is the launch vehicle which ideally if you are launching from Sriharikota, which is the launch vehicle you would choose? If there are three options available, there is a PSLV, there is a GSLV and there is a you could say the small satellite launch vehicle. Which one would you prefer?
Sir, generally we prefer GSLV, but sometimes.
You will prefer GSLV because PSLV has a limitation of carrying 1 to 2.
So, there is a weight limit.
And recently Aditya L1 made headlines. Can you just highlight what does L1 in Aditya L1 stand?
Sir, L1 is Lagrange point. these are points at which the net force from sun and earth that cancels out, and body the the body in orbit can stay at the same place.
How many such points are there?
So there are 5.
And India is using the L1. At what distance is the L1 point?
Sorry, sir, I cannot recall exactly the distance.
Any rough guess which you would like to make?
Sorry, sir, I cannot.
And in Haryana, NDRA is always make headlines. Can you just highlight what is the contribution of NDRA in Haryana?
Sir, I'm not aware.
National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, if you can elaborate.
Sir, I think Haryana is a farming community. Agriculture is a dominant sector. Sir, and to diversify the income, dairy is.
Actually, NDRA is famous for making clones of, you could say, livestock animals. And recently, we have seen that Ian Wilmot died, who made the first clone. Can you just link which was the first animal to be cloned? It was recently in news.
Sir, I can take a guess, but I'm
Okay,
not
you
sure.
can make an educated guess. Which animal was the first ever to be cloned?
Sir, was it sheep Lucy?
It was a sheep, Dolly. It was a sheep. And recently, India had 2 more sites added to World Heritage List. Can you just name them?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
Have you heard about Hoysalas or Shanti Niketan? In history, you must have read. What are the Hoysalas assembled with part of this, you could say, Indian state,
Sir, the Karnataka region.
Karnataka? And what about Shanti Niketan?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware, but I think it's from West Bengal.
It's not West Bengal.
What is your motivation in life?
I think the purpose of life should be a life of purpose. Money is not my prime motivation.
Have you gone through any medications?
Apart from some flu medications, now and then, I don't think any serious medication that we have gone through.
Okay. So yes, you were talking about the motivation or purpose of life.
I think contentment
What do you want to improve in the society?
there is so much to improve in a country like India. You can work
Why only India?
because it's not possible to work.
What is
from
not possible?
You have to begin from grassroots up. You have to look after your
Yes.
country first.
What do you want to improve in the society?
Social conditions of women, social conditions of backward classes, there's huge levels of poverty, malnutrition, education levels are not up to par. Health.
You are
health
highly
status.
educated.
Yes,
What you would like to do for Rajasthan? You are from Rajasthan?
yes. No, I'm from Haryana,
Okay, you have done your IIT from?
Jodhpur.
Yes. What do you want to improve in Jodhpur?
Again, poverty and unemployment are huge issues.
You are shifting your employment from a job, day-to-day job.
Yes, ma'am.
What has motivated you towards this civil services?
I come from a technical
You said
background.
contentment is coming from job, na? You are shifting it.
Yes, ma'am.
What made you shift your job?
Because I come from a technical background, any background, I know it's important. Every job is important, but there's a limitation how far you can reach people, how impactful your actions can be.
You want to reach up to the masses.
Not reach in the sense I want to be influential, but I want to change people's lives. In
How?
the sense like civil service provides a great opportunity that you can reach the last person in the last line.
तो आपने ये क्यों किया? फॉर्मल ये जो है आप फुटबॉल 2D एनिमेशन करते हैं,
Yes, ma'am.
and then you have done this physics.
Yes, ma'am.
So why did you go for all this? At that time you were not sure about your purpose. Maybe this may be one of the reasons.
No, I've been sure from quite a long time, but I don't think it should compromise on the quality of education you get. The more education and knowledge is transferable.
Do you get angry?
I do get angry, but very rarely.
अभिषेक मिडिल पीरियड में
Yes, sir.
एक वॉरियर है हरियाणा से जिन्होंने विक्रमादित्य का टाइटल लिया है, नेम द वॉर। रेवाड़ी से हैं।
Sorry, sir, I cannot recall.
हेमू का नाम सुना है आपने?
Yes, sir.
फुल नेम ऑफ हेमू?
Sorry, sir.
ओके, हर्षवर्धन के बारे में कुछ बताइए।
Sir, Harshavardhan was ruler of Tanjore.
तंजौर। हर्षवर्धन हरियाणा के रूलर थे, थानेश्वर।
Thanishwar, sorry.
ओके, हर्षवर्धन ने 3 बुक्स लिखी हैं, उनके नेम बताइए।
Sir, I can only recall one, Priyadarshika.
प्रियदर्शिका, ओके। अतः नागानंद एंड रत्नावली,
Yes, yes.
ओके। एंड हु रोट कादम्बरी?
Sorry, sir, I cannot recall.
नो इशू। एनसीआर रीजन जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, नेशनल कैपिटल रीजन, ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्यों लाया गया था? इन किस ईयर में लाया गया था?
Sir, I'm not aware about the year. But
Why it was implemented?
so investment for investment purposes, it's easier to get certain investors from. So I'm not able to recall the name of the body, but
नो इश्यूज। कितनी डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं हरियाणा की जो एनसीआर में आती हैं?
sir, exact number तो नहीं पता है.
ओके, नेम द सम।
Sir, रोहतक, झज्जर, गुरुग्राम, मेवात, नूह.
ओके, नो इशू। अभी आपने मेवात दंगों के बारे में सुना होगा।
Yes, sir.
ओके, आप कैसे देखते हैं मेवात दंगों को?
Sir, the regions south apart from Gurgaon, they are socially and economically quite backward because agriculture is
So,
not that.
in your opinion, developmental issues?
So behind every issue, there is always a developmental issue.
अगर डेवलपमेंट इशू होता देन इससे पहले वहाँ पर दंगे होते, इससे पहले कभी दंगे नहीं हुए मेवात में। एक सोशल कैपिटल अगर आप देखोगे तो बहुत ज़्यादा है, सोशल कैपिटल सोशल कैपिटल बहुत ज़्यादा है। देन अभी ये दंगे क्यों हुए? आप पॉलिटिकल रीजंस हैं, इकोनॉमिक रीजंस हैं, कल्चरल रीजंस हैं, कौन से रीजंस को आप मानते हो मेन?
Sir, it's an intermix of different reasons. Like I said, कि development also plays a role. If,
ओके, अगर आप उस टाइम पर जब ये दंगे हुए थे, आप वहाँ पर लाइक पुलिस ऑफिसर और एसडीएम होते, देन आप दंगों को रोकने के लिए क्या कर सकते थे? एंड ऐसे 2 स्टेप आप लेते जो उनको रोकते, 2 स्टेप्स।
Sir, first of all, I think such law and order situations call for some strict measures. So, implementation of Section 144,
ओके,
so that we can control violence and no tolerance policy from either group to take law in their hands. Sir, I think these would be my first 2 steps. Then I can take steps to for certain grievance redressal. What are their issues? Some platform to talk it out amicably and not use violence.
ओके अभिषेक, हरियाणा में सेक्स रेशो बहुत बड़ा इशू है।
Yes.
देन हरियाणा की गवर्नमेंट की एक स्कीम है लाडली पेंशन योजना, इसके बारे में कुछ बताएं।
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about that.
ओके, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ स्कीम के बारे में कुछ बताएं। किस ईयर में इसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया गया था, कहाँ से किया?
I'm not aware. I cannot recall कि कहाँ से किया गया था. But
ईयर
year, sir, 2015.
2015। ओके, श्योर। ओके, सो आपने स्टडी जो की है जोधपुर से की है।
Yes, sir.
राजस्थान को 2 पार्ट में डिवाइड करते हैं मेनली, मारवाड़ एंड मेवाड़।
Yes, sir.
कैन यू डिफरेंशिएट मेवाड़ एंड मारवाड़?
Sir, I'm not that aware about it.
Recently 124th Constitutional Amendment Bill was in news. Can you just highlight which topic it is related to?
Sir, 124.
special session was organized in new building, which is the first major achievement of that new parliament building.
Sir, I was busy writing mails, so I did not
Okay,
follow
oh,
that.
you were totally out of. Like it was women reservation bill I'm
Yes, sir.
talking about. Okay, so what is the reservation which has been now sanctioned? Because it will take some time in formalities.
So 33%.
Can you name one country where already in current, you could say, representation, almost 66% are women parliamentarians?
So I can take a calculated guess. For it.
Okay, which you can first highlight the continent, which continent you are presuming it to be?
Sir, I think some country in Africa.
Yes, it's Africa only, then you can make a guess, because in Africa only.
Sir, is it Uganda?
It's Rwanda.
Rwanda.
Okay, look, that's a clear enough answer. And can you name any woman who have made Haryana proud as a parliamentarian? There must have been some politician who had made some imprint or remark.
I'm forgetting the name, but
There's a quite popular personality.
she just recently passed away.
If you forget about it, who was the first ever woman speaker in independent India? Because it was from Haryana only, first woman speaker.
Sorry, sir.
It was Shanno Devi, and you probably were revolving your answer around Sushma Swaraj as well, because they both indirectly are related. And if you have to say you are selected as SDM, which are two areas which you like to work on priority if you given discretion?
Sir, I come from a education family background. My father is a retired principal. My mother is still teaching. Sir, I think education is.
If the first is education, what is the current literacy rate of Haryana? Is it above national or it's below?
Sir, it's below national. It's,
And second area which would you like to work on?
Sir, health.
Health. And can you name any two major health problems which or any two specific diseases which you feel that Haryana is not able to manage?
Sir, one quite low-hanging fruit which we can reap great benefits is anemia. 50% of the women suffer
From anemia. Okay.
hampers child's health also. Sir, anemia is which we can work easily and get good results. Sir, another one is non-communicable diseases are also becoming major cause of this.
Any specific example of any non-communicable disease?
Sir, dengue, we can tackle dengue. It's
Is there any vaccine available for dengue?
I'm not aware of it, but
And what is the vector which is involved in dengue transmission?
sir, plasmodium dengue.
That's in malaria.
Yes.
And what is the causative agent of dengue?
Sir, mosquitoes.
That's
Carriers.
vector. That's the vector. Aedes aegypti is the vector. Causative agent is virus. It's a dengue virus.
What makes you different from others?
Sorry.
What makes you different from others?
I don't think I'm that special. I think I'm a normal guy. But I think my moral compass is I'm most proud of. If I had to point out something, I think I would say
Okay, what are your moral values? The utmost important moral value according to you?
according to me, it's foremost it is fortitude. Because without that, you cannot implement any other moral values.
Which leader has influenced you the most?
I would say Mahatma Gandhi. I know it's a very stereotypical answer. I would
Why?
say, because for him, values and morals were not point of convenience. They did not change with convenience. Even if it benefited him or anybody else, he stuck to them, and we can see in the long run it's always beneficial. That means
Your
also
father being the principal was an advantage to you? Was it, or was it difficult to accommodate with a father who is a principal?
it's a mixed bag, I would say.
Mm.
Because in certain cases, it's an advantage. You learn to have discipline in life. He knows what's right for you in the long run, what's wrong for you. He's a very strong guide throughout my life. If I gotten into IT, I would say it's 80% is.
How important it is for India to explore more and more in the space research?
I think space is the next frontier. I think the early beginner has a very great advantage in space front. Private sector is coming in, SpaceX is coming in, and India is among the very few countries who have the capabilities. So I think we have to take the full advantage.
Why the current issues which happened in Manipur happen?
It's a complex mix of so many things. There have always been a ethnic divide between Meiteis and Kuki. Then the reservation issue, which Manipur High Court demanded the government to implement.
Can the ethnic issues be solved by the administrative field?
It can be controlled, but I do not think it can be solved
Then
by
how it
administration.
can be solved?
All social issues at some point has to come from bottom up, from within. The change has to come from within. I think education and constant interaction with the other group, these are must to understand the point of view of the other.
I don't think education can do much. Even the most urbanized areas like Delhi has the highest ratio of rapes in the country. Then what can improve all this? You being adopting this civil services
Yes, ma'am.
as a purpose of your life, na?
I think right education can change a lot. People's socio-economic background, their education, the culprits. If we check
You are also educated, the other person is also educated, your classmates are also educated. But your main motivation is your moral values. Others don't have it as their moral values, as their motivation. The difference lies here, not in the education.
Yes, ma'am.
Even a villager can be a better person than you,
Sure.
isn't it? So education is not making much difference. Answer lies somewhere else. You being an administrator, how will you cope with all this? You can't ask the people who are having violence among themselves, go and study in the school or college. Right? So what will you do then? Answer is not education.
Maybe in long term, I accepted that it's
For
not.
how long we are independent since many years? For how long will this move? And what can moral values do in this? Moral value of one person, what can it do?
Not one person.
Yes, so the issues are very grave, isn't it? Wound healing will take even the centuries, isn't it? So you should think about such questions, isn't it?
अभिषेक, as you mentioned महात्मा गांधी,
Yes, ma'am.
रॉलेट एक्ट के बारे में कुछ बताइए.
Sir, Rowlatt Act was the stick that followed the 1970 Rowlatt Act.
1917.
1917. Sir,
और 1919.
as far as I can recall, it was in
ओके, रॉलेट एक्ट के टाइम पर एक मैसेकर हुआ है, वो कहाँ हुआ था?
sorry sir, I cannot recall.
रॉलेट एक्ट के टाइम पर महात्मा गांधी पंजाब की तरफ जा रहे हैं, उनको हरियाणा के एक स्टेशन पर उतारकर अरेस्ट कर लिया गया है. उस स्टेशन का नाम बता सकते हैं?
I do not metro stations in Haryana. So
ओके लास्ट क्वेश्चन हमसे PCPNDT एक्ट की फुल फॉर्म बताइए.
sir, preconception, prenatal diagnostics.
ओके थैंक यू अभिषेक.
Thank you, sir.